I've expanded the top 30 eBay sales series to now include vintage basketball. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at cards that start around $1,500 all the way through $16,000 for the highest sale. Now, since this is a brand new series, I'm probably going to miss a few sales. So if you did see something that sold a little bit higher in April, please let me know. And also for the cutoff on years, the last year that I included in here was 1981. So that's what I kind of counted as vintage basketball. If I should make it a little bit earlier, also let me know because I'm open to making that change. With that being said, let's start this video. All right, so we're going to be starting off the list this week with a 1961 Jerry West. I think that has pretty good eye appeal for a PSA 2. It has an auto of 10 and is sold for $14.75. From what I've heard from a few different autograph collectors, that Jerry West signs quite a lot. So this isn't a super tough card to find. That's why it goes for that price point, especially with Jerry West being the NBA logo. But I think this is a pretty solid looking 2. If someone told me that this was a 3, I would not be surprised. All right, up next, we have a 1961 Cons Oscar Robertson. This sold for $1,500. I did have a 1961 at one point. I can't remember what the grade was on this, but I don't think I sold it close to $1,500. I probably sold it for a couple $100, if I remember correctly. I could be remembering wrong. But he does have a 1960, which is earlier, so maybe the buyer was thinking there was an earlier version of this, and that's what he spent the money on. But again, I'm just spitballing right now. I'm not looking at the specific comps on this Oscar Robertson, but this is much tougher to find than the Fleer, although the Fleer is a lot more iconic. $1,800 for this 51 Burke Ross Bob Cousy. Now, these cards were attached. You can see the perforated part over here to the left. So there's another player or subject over here to the left. They're essentially ripped apart, and then this was a individual card that was sent into grading. Sometimes you see them together. I don't know what the market looks like in comparison from together versus single, but this 7 over here sold for $1,800. I don't think it's the nicest 7, especially looking at some of these corners. And it's definitely an older slab, but yeah, I've sent in other Burke Ross cards that look nicer than this and have gotten much lower grades. Even on the centering, it's kind of to be desired with this. $1,900 Pete Maravich rookie in a PSA 8. These are down a lot, but it is a nice looking 8 so far. Well, I can't tell if that scratch is on the card or on the case. I hope it's on the case. I think it is because you see these scratches right over there. Let's just take a look at this all together. Possibly an issue right there. I think those scratches are on the case. And kind of sharp corners, little centering issues here on the back, but leather grading doesn't care about the back. And this is going to be a staple on the list every month. You'll see a lot of cards that are going to be repetitive. This is going to be one of those. Another Cousy. This is the 1961 Fleer. 10 years later, this is an NBA sticker. Solid corners and good colors on this card. And this is common to see on a lot of these 61 Fleers. I think there's a little bit of premium if there's not this line on the back, but those are tough to see. I think this is a really clean copy. And sometimes when you go to old certs, they're way overgraded. Sometimes they're graded appropriately, and I think this one was probably graded appropriately, unless there's something that I'm missing. Nice looking 8. Oscar Robertson, a 6 MK with an auto 10. Which I think this is the first time I've seen a qualifier on an autograph card like this. So, looking at the card in general, it looks pretty nice. And I should mention that this card sold for $2,090. I wonder where this mark is at. Ah, right there. Interesting. I'm curious why someone would send in a card with a mark and get signed, although it's a very clean looking card. I don't know. I personally wouldn't, but I guess someone did. Maybe at a show or something like that. 2107 Wilt Chamberlain, 1972. I like the 72 design a lot in basketball. I think it looks pretty classic. I wish they had a baseball set that looked like this. But 2107 and 78 cents. Take a look at the back. A little granular of a picture. But pretty good looking card. 2181, 1972. Once again, Julius Erving, his rookie card. It might be embarrassing, but I thought for the longest time when I was younger that the triple, 1980, that was also a Julius Erving rookie. But obviously, once I started learning more about vintage basketball, I knew about this card. But thought I'd share that. 2181 for this 8. And a little corner damage. One of your iconic basketball cards. Oof, this centering on the back is atrocious. But PSA doesn't care about that. 2300. I want to say the name's Gail Goodrich. If I mispronounced it, I apologize. But a Topps Rulers. I know there's also some bigger names in the Topps Rulers, and that is a giant slab. And it's still bent in the slab and everything. But these are meant to be creased, which is another interesting talking point about the hobby, because there's so many inconsistencies on how cards are inputted into packs or distributed, how the grading companies grade them. There's some stuff that, in like the non-sports space, that are folded into a pack, and everything gets a 1 or a 2. There's stuff that has staples in it, and it gets a 1, or sometimes a 1.5, no matter what the condition of the card looks like. Yet something like this could have multiple creases, and it gets a PSA 9. Well, it's a set in general. It's very odd to me that we have no standards with grading. 2300 for that card. 2850 in 1981 Topps Magic Johnson Super Action. Only time you'll see this specific Magic Johnson is in that 10 on this list. He has another card that's a bit more desirable, and these are not easy to gem by any means like that. $3,000, 1969 Kareem. This has an authentic grade with an auto being a 10. Signs a lot of these rookie cards, but it's expensive to get these signed. They have a very high upcharge, his agent did. And I heard some horror stories at the National about getting autographs with how bad the line was. But not the place to talk about it. I think this card looks pretty good, so I don't know why this didn't get a numerical grade. Why someone just got it slabbed as authentic. I think that was a little bit of a waste, unless they mention in the description, which they don't. I think this is a good candidate to crack and resend it in. Well, not even just crack it, but just send it in and ask for a numerical grade on the card. Because I think it would add a little bit to the value. 3,500, 1961 Fleer, Wilt Chamberlain. This is his less desirable card, but this is also an 8. Again, not a bad looking card. I think there's some print defect right here, which since in today, probably not an 8, but like I think the corners and color overall looks pretty good on this card. And very slight centering issue here on the back, but and is that a pen mark or a print mark? Can't tell. The front looks good. 3827. There's another Oscar Robertson on the list, but I count autograph cards versus non-autograph cards differently for this series. So that's why this one was included. And the other one was also included. But a little bit centering, new cert, pretty sharp corners. And it looks like they have their shop also shown over here, Collector's World. Not bad advertisement on that side of things, right? Just got back from PSA. Been A8 or way higher back in the day, which, the sad thing is, probably true. Um, Based off of some old 8 certs. I'm sure we'll see it a lot more. That's funny that they put in the description like that. I get it to sell it, but and they picked up for original collection. It's a pretty cool card. Hal Greer. This is a PSA 10, 1971. 38.88. Love that bid from someone. And centering on the back, way better than I think we had another 72 that was bad. I know this is a different year, but nice card. Nothing to really complain about. New cert too. Really great color. Someone picked up an awesome card. 1974 Elvin Hayes. This one sold for $4,000 in a 10 old cert. Looks like there's some centering issues left to right. Take a look at the back. Not a lot of chipping, but there looks like to be some print defect right there. Slab scratches, which are common. Get this in a new slab. 1957 Bob Cousy, $4,250. Really old PSA cert. New slab. Centering is not good, but that happens to a lot in 1957, so you kind of just have to have that expectation coming in. Sold by Tommy Larson, which is a huge dealer. Sets up at a lot of shows. One of those that has a lot of cards on eBay and also Showcase. 44.35 for Sharp Corners. Sold this Wilt Chamberlain 1969 Topps. Card number 1 in a PSA 8 old cert. And looks like there's some issues there, but overall it's a pretty clean card. Maybe some staining here on the back. Looks like something's going on over there. But a very popular card. 44.94. Same with the Oscar from earlier. Autograph versus non-autograph. I'm counting as 2 different cards. 7.5. That's Jerry West. If you sent the send, would you be kind of mad about the 7.5? Like, would you really want the 8? I'm sure it's a big price difference. Half-point difference. And then you can see that gap again here on the back. So it was sold by Probstein. We're going up a lot of value. 57.42 for this 1969 Willis Reed PSA 9. Looks like they have some very sharp corners on this one. Maybe something going on over there. Can't 100% tell. Looks like a little bit of a smudge, but it could just be the photo. 1961 Bill Russell autograph. Card got a 6. Auto has a 10. The blue pen, I don't know where the best place to sign on this one was. Kind of hard to read a little bit of the autograph. This is almost perfect here on the back. That's what you want to see. A little bit of corner issue, but that's probably why I got a 6. Still a nice card. $6,000, 1969 Lou Alcindor, and a PSA 7. By Broadway's Card House. 71.89. Another 1961 Fleer Hall of Famer. And a PSA 9, which is awesome grade. Pretty big gap though here at the top on the back. But a great card sold by Probstein. $8,000. Another card sold by Tommy Larson. 1961 Wilt Chamberlain PSA 6. New cert, pretty good eye appeal, I would think. The border over there, that probably caused lower grade, but eye appeal is definitely there. It looks really great on the front. 9,500, 1948. Bowman, George Mikan. And this mentions the blue variation. I think that's like, there's no red border, if I remember correctly, or something like that. There's like 3 variants of this, plus there's like a sheet cut version. I don't know if this outsells the non-variant, but I can't remember if I saw blue variant in an auction house. This might be one of the cards we covered in the auction house video. $11,988, 1957 Bill Russell, authentic with an autograph of a 10. I mean, this card would grade a 1 just based off of multiple creases here, the corner roundness over here, as well as there and here. So, not much. There is an inscription, but I don't know how much the inscription adds with Russell. I guess every player is different based off of what inscriptions they have. There's really like no price guide. You know, how many inscriptions? Oh, there's 10, or not 10, but like 2 or 3 inscriptions. What added value does that have to a card? Although a lot of promoters add extra charges for inscriptions, so and players don't always sign them. I'd be curious, but 12,000, and this would be probably like your entry level autograph on a 57 Bill Russell card. 12,500. Larry Bird, Irving, Magic Johnson in APSC 9. Old cert. Those only had 2 bids. And the seller only has 11 feedback. So this will go into the PS authentication side of things. And I'm curious if someone looked up that cert, if there's any pictures online or anything like that. That's a big card to sell for a new eBay account. But I still show you guys what this list looks like each time. People can always join, so I'm just always wary with that type of stuff. I was debating whether or not to add this on here. So this is a buyback, but it's still a triple auto. There was other triple autos of the 3 players here that were signed aftermarket, and I didn't include them on the list because I included this one. So yes, it's sort of vintage card, but also it's not. So 2 of 10 red ink. I don't know what year they distribute these at. Maybe they'll have some info in the description. 2007. Look at this. A buyback promotion tops. The card was straight from Beckett. So I mean, it is a vintage card, but it also is a buyback. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it's a good looking copy. Nice looking 7. And someone got a really great premium. I wonder if there's other years that they did buybacks on this card. All right, our second most expensive card, this 1957 Russell, $13,750. Centering is always an issue in these 57s, but like the corners on this look pretty sharp. Registration may be an issue, but I can't tell if that's just how this was scanned in. And bad centering, but sharp corners. So if you like sharp corners, this would be the card for you. Although I kind of view centering number 1 and corners number 2, but that's what I like the most. And obviously old cert, but new slab. The most expensive card that sold, check out my vault. $16,470. Larry Bird in APSA 10. Remember when cheaper versions of these went crazy during the pandemic. But that was our most expensive basketball card. There was a few Bread for Healths that sold by ComC, and apparently these sold extremely fast. Because if you guys watched our auction recaps, Matt wanted to buy this card, but this sold for $1,400. I'm not too familiar with this player. Al Servi, and if I mispronounce it, I apologize. He led the team to NBA championship in 1949. These are very tough to find, and really an awesome card. And I had to showcase this one on the honorable mentions. Almost made the top 30. $1,300, 1961 Fleer, $1,350 for this 1961 Cons Jerry West. Again, he has a 1960 card, and been following the channel for a while. Steven, who does our SGC subs and used to do a lot of the card show vlogs, also, he owns a 1960 signed, which is a pretty awesome piece. But these have sold really well. I think this guy sold both those 1961 Cons. I mean, again, they're tough cards to find. You don't see them every day. But this is a really high sale for a Jerry West. Not this was an expensive card. This sold for $500, but this is one of the earliest basketball cards out here. You can see 1910 on here, and it has Northwestern. So this in a 4 sold for $500, which kind of shows you you can find some of these early Murads, at least like the basketball side. And there's also some expensive ones on baseball and a little bit with golf. People pay a premium. I don't know how realistic that $500 price point is on this card. Is this the first time it's sold on this list? But it's something I can take a look at for some comps. But I know if I'm going through a stack, I always pull the basketball ones, baseball, golf, because sometimes you end up being a little bit lucky. Now I did want to call out this hilarious fake card. This again, why I'm always skeptical of like really large cards being sold by sellers that have like 50 or 100 feedback. I mean, look at how bad that slab is. And this sold for $58.41 with 68 bids. This is how I can't imagine what the PSA authenticator is gonna look like when they open up this card in the mail. Oh man, that's gonna be funny. But I wish I was a fly in the room. This is a horrible fake. All around. I chuckled this. A full 1961 set. This sold for $18,000. And you can see Russell 9 OC, West 8 MC, Robertson 8 OC, Wilt MC. I mean, if you don't mind the qualifiers, they're nice cards. Personally, I don't like qualifiers. I mean, it seems like everything was qualified on here. Oof, look at that cut in Elgin. Almost looks trimmed. I mean, they're good cards color wise, and it looks like the corners are sharp. But man, those are some wacky cuts. At $35.90, we had a 1969 Topps Basketball PSA 7 lot. And it said there was like 36 cards, including number 1. I wish they listed the players. I'm not going to look them up, but you card 1, 2, all the way through 95. I guess if you're building out the set in high grade, this is a good way to start or help get some upgrades. And lastly, $11,000 high-end 1961 Fleer basketball complete set, number 47, Wilt Chamberlain, dead centered. You might be interested in the resale value if you end up buying this set and doing the math behind it. These cards in good shape, sell for a lot, and these don't look too bad. Probably a lot of big grades things, but I don't even know how many cards are in the set. Oh, breaking up my 1960. Oh, okay, so it's not even a full set. It's 22 cards. There you go. Look, 22 cards. I was like, we're missing a lot of pictures here. So that's the card they're saying is dead centered. It's blurry picture, unfortunately. I mean, the corners look sharp, though. I guess someone did their math on it, or is taking a risk. I mean, they don't look too bad. But that is the last card on the list this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if I missed any basketball sales, please let me know. This is the first month of doing vintage basketball. I want to make these videos a little bit better with the data each time. So if I miss anything, make sure to comment it down below. That way I can add them to my query where I search every single month. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe because I have other top 30 videos as well. And I have a lot of playlists on the channel. All right, I'll see you guys in another video.